Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about Dungeons & Dragons. And the question, should Dungeons & Dragons, the core rule books, be printed in the United States of America? And the answer I'm going to give it to you right now is a big old heck to the yes. Absolutely, right? And I'm going to talk why we should print Dungeons & Dragons in the U.S., okay? All right, so let's talk about it. So one, first I actually need to define when Dungeons & Dragons should be printed in the United States of America. All right, so one, we are currently on 5th edition. So at some point we're going to transition to 6th edition, right? Now I think that is between 1 and 3 years away. Actually, it's between 2 and 4 years away. I don't think we're going to get it in the next year. There's no way 6th edition is going to be at Gen Con next year, right? So, or even before Christmas, right? So it's going to be 2 to 4 years away. So I am specifically saying that we should print Dungeons & Dragons, PHB, DMG, MM, the Monster Manual, the Dungeon Master Guide, the Player's Handbook in America exclusively in America, right? This would be a change. This is not being done at this point, right? It is currently being printed in countries external to America, right? Now, why is this important? Why should we do it, okay? Well, the reason why, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Actually, what I've been thinking a lot about lately that has prompted me to think this change should happen, right? Oh, by the way, we should print 6th edition in the U.S. That would give, because this is a massive change, right? And so that would give Wizards of the Coast time to actually test this out on a product or two, to actually do some test prints. I don't know if you could actually sell anything, and we'll actually talk about that in a minute. Okay, so here's the reason why this should be done. Okay, so I have quite a few hobbies, too many hobbies actually. But one of my a hobby that I've just recently started. I've been doing it about a year now, and I've really been maybe about a year and a half. But I've really been getting into it is Gunpla, right? Gunpla is Gundam plastic models. So it is building plastic models of Gundam mobile suits, which are flying robots, flying space robots from the series Gundam. All right, now Gundam models, Gundam plastic models, are an iconic Japanese product. Japan makes them. There was a brief period where they made them external to Japan, and they pulled all that production back into Japan because they were not happy with the quality they were getting, right? And they said, and so the Japanese nation has embraced Gundam plastic models as a Japanese national product. The entire nation celebrates the creation of those plastic models. And it is truly incredible what they do with those models. I have built American plastic models and I have built Japanese plastic models. There's absolutely no comparison. It truly is the difference between a Ferrari Testarossa and a Ford Pinto, right? Like they're not even in the same league, right? Like so, Japan takes Gundam plastic models very, very seriously. So there is a special factory in Japan where Gundam plastic models are created, right? There's like tours of this area. People travel from all over the world just to see this factory. There is major innovation in this factory, right? One of the things they can do is what's called multiple color runners, right? So Gundam plastic models are built on sprues, and they actually, so all the parts for the plastic model come on a sprue, right? This large piece, and you actually cut them off with clippers, right? Well, they can do multiple color plastic runners. So they can do one sprue with a whole bunch of parts on it, and on one sprue, they can do green, red, yellow, white, 4 different colors on one sprue. They are the only factory in the world that can do this. The only factory in the world that can do this, right? It is true innovation. Japan takes incredible pride and says, this is an iconic Japanese product built for a global market. We will sell it to the world, but it will be created nowhere but here, because it is purely Japanese, and we are proud of it, right? Now, this is not the only product like that, right? Another product just like this is Canadian maple syrup. There are specific companies that take maple syrup incredibly seriously, right? There are laws and foundations and federations that are set up. There are special trade policies that have been set up in Canada to protect the incredibly precious brands of Canadian maple syrup, right? They are very, very serious about this Canadian national product, and the entire country celebrates the fact that they make the best maple syrup in the entire world, right? And they take incredible pride in this, right? Well, here's my point, right? Dungeons & Dragons is way more important than maple syrup, or I am a fan of Gundam plastic models, but Dungeons & Dragons is way cooler than Gundam plastic models, right? That's the issue. Is Dungeons & Dragons is, in my opinion, an iconically American product, right? Now, one of the other issues that I and I can't tell you how far this goes, right? I see Dungeons & Dragons 6th edition as a massive, massive opportunity. One of the things that can be done with Dungeons & Dragons 6th edition is an absolute seizing by Wizards of the Coast, saying, we are not another game. This is not another product. Dungeons & Dragons is 1980s Marvel, right? Marvel is multi-billion-dollar IP holder. They know their value, right? Marvel does not play. They play at a global level, does not play when it comes to their products and their brand, right? They distribute on a global scale, and they know, what's the value of Captain America, right? Well, that character alone is worth at least $10 billion, maybe $100 billion, right? Well, that's my point, is that Dungeons & Dragons is just like Marvel in the 1980s. Nobody really knew the value of Marvel in the 1980s, and Marvel made some horrible decisions to sell characters and sell parts of the company off that they regret to this very day, right? Now, with Dungeons & Dragons, it is massively, massively undervalued, right? And so one of the things that can be started to fix in 6th edition, right, is just the seizing of the pure scale and value of Dungeons & Dragons. All right? I'm going to say it. Too big to fail, right? This country has already decided that there are automakers, there are financial properties, right? There are products that the United States government has said, this is too big to fail. It's too precious, right? Now, if you want to align yourself and be ready for too big to fail, HarleyDavidson, which Mike Mearls has specifically compared their brand to. Mike Mearls, they did a survey and realized that Dungeons & Dragons is extremely similar to Harley-Davidson, right? Harley-Davidson was bailed out by Ronald Reagan, right? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about government bailout securities against Dungeons & Dragons, right? This game cannot be underestimated on how valuable it is, right? And just look at Marvel. I truly believe Dungeons & Dragons is a better IP than Marvel. It's a better IP container than Marvel. It truly is, right? So with that said, it really needs to start to take what is it and purely grasp the incredible value within the game, right? And position itself to be taken incredibly seriously, right? And so one of the ways you do that is you declare your product as an American product, right? You say, this is a product the entire nation can be proud that we make. We can make sure that when this product is created, it is designed in America. It is printed in America. It is an iconically American product for a global market. exactly the way Japan has declared with Gundam plastic models, exactly the way Canada has declared with Canadian maple syrup. Okay? So that's what I'm saying is it really absolutely should be it should be printed solely, exclusively in America. Oh, I hear you. Like, you're saying, wait, Scott, wait, what? You're going to print this in America? Well, Dungeons & Dragons is printed in developing countries right now, and America is a developed country. You cannot print a product in a developed country for the same price that you can print it in a developing country. I hear you. You're 100% correct, right? So, how do you fix that? Well, here's the next part. 6th edition. I am so hyped for 6th edition. I'm so excited about it because there's so many problems that can be fixed, right? Here's what you do with the American printed Dungeons & Dragons, PHP, MM, and DMG, okay? Here's how you handle it. You print it in America, right? Now, right now, the PHPs they cost $50 a piece, right? Now, you are definitely going to have an increase in cost for printing. So you should have an increase in cost for price. Check it. Here's where we go. Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, Dungeon Master Guide, $99.99, $100 a piece, right? And I can hear you go, what? Scott, that's $300 for the set. Oh my goodness, that's so expensive. It's not, right? It is a pittance. Those books are worth every penny. Dungeons & Dragons will change your life, right? Right now, there are, it's not a video game. People buy crap video games. People buy great video games every single day. My son just played Spider-Man, right? He bought it for $60. He finished it. He platinumed it, right? He loved that game, right? That game cost more money than the PHP, right? And what I'm saying is that with the PHP, the DMG, the Monster Manuals, each one of those is worth 20 video games a piece. And the reason why is you can tell 100 stories a piece with them. 1,000 stories a piece with them. They're so much more valuable than these cruft video games that are being bought at $60 a piece. The idea that anybody would say that, Assassin's Creed Odyssey should be purchased at a price higher than the PHP is absurd. Absurd. You can take the PHP and play 100 games, right? And I truly believe, without a doubt, any PHP is worth 100 times Assassin's Creed Odyssey, right? It's ridiculous. $99.99 is a fair price for the PHP, for the MM, and for the DMG. And it will not be a problem for 2 reasons. Okay, 1, we must accept this at the industry level, specifically for Dungeons & Dragons, right? There are no wealth-challenged people playing Dungeons & Dragons at the macro level. There are certainly exceptions, and I'm going to talk about exceptions in a minute. At the macro level, wealth-challenged people do not play Dungeons & Dragons. And middle class to extremely wealthy people are attracted to Dungeons & Dragons like flies to honey, right? Or like bees to honey, right? I think I'm getting something wrong there. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. All right, so that's my point. It is extremely attractive to middle class, to wealthy people, right? Now, what do you do with the exceptions? I'm not a heartless person, right? So, 1, here's what you do with people who are wealth challenged, right? People who can't afford $300 for the PHP, the MM, and the DMG. It's already taken care of. We already know the model, okay? So, 1, when 6th edition comes out, WotC does exactly what they did with 5th edition. They create a nice free PDF that allows you to play Fighter, Cleric, Rogue, Wizard from 1 to 5th level. Give it away for nothing. There you go. All the wealth challenged people are taken care of. Done. Okay? All right. And they can print it. Now, you're saying, well, wait. What if they don't have computers? Already taken care of as well. Wizards of the Coast already has programs where they give free books to people who are wealth challenged. In addition to that, there are well over 100 charities, right, that do exactly the same thing. Extra Life, I think that's the one by Penny Arcade, and just literally dozens and dozens and dozens of other organizations give books out to people who are wealth challenged, right? So there is absolutely a structure to make sure that no one's left behind, right? And so I really think Dungeons & Dragons 6th edition should be printed exclusively in the United States of America. And Wizards of the Coast should begin setting up Dungeons & Dragons as a too big to fail product, as an American national product, right? And then also, the price for these printed U.S. books should be $99.99, $100 a pop, right? Because they're worth way more than that. And I would pay $4.99 a piece for mine, and not, you wouldn't hear a peep from me, right? So that's what I think. I would love to hear your opinion on the subject, and please consider liking and subscribing.